You're listening to DraftKings Network.
The kids are still at practice, and I have no idea what's for dinner.
You can get a rotisserie chicken and 2 sides for just $15 in as fast as an hour with Walmart Express Delivery.
Who said that? Who's in my house? Don't play with me, because I'm not the one.
It's just your friendly Walmart announcer. This is a commercial.
Oh, okay. You were saying dinner for a family was just $15?
Yep, it'll be at your door by the time you get the kids home from practice. Order now. Welcome to your Walmart. Subject to availability, restrictions, and fees apply.
Now that was a helpful commercial.
Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo.
Jeremy, can you do me a favor and just look up for me just a factual list of things that Trump sells? I just want facts, nothing but one after another, just things that are...
So you don't want the country on the list. You just want...
I don't need your
intangible
I don't
objects.
need your political commentary here. I just wanted facts. I just asked for facts.
Well, those don't exist anymore, but you got it, Dan.
Okay, I just...
We got a great show.
You asked the wrong guy.
Just keep your opinions to yourself for a moment and just find me the facts of things that he sells.
You're like Jeremy Kimmel?
I mean, what is he doing? Honest to God.
It's a monologue, Dan.
People are confused here seeing you in a baseball cap. I don't recognize what's happening around you. You do look 15 years younger, and because of Ramadan, it looks like you have lost a good amount of weight. You look leaner, too.
When you say people are confused, is that a euphemism for I'm confused?
No, I wasn't confused and didn't think of it at all, but Chris Cody mentioned to me, he said everybody over here was confused by you in a baseball cap.
Just multiple comments from the room. In a hat.
I mean, I wouldn't. It sounds like he thinks you normally look like crap. Like you're wearing a hat. You look a lot younger. Oh, did you lose weight? Because you were looking really pudgy before. Now you're looking a lot better. Is it Ramadan? What's going on with you, Amin?
It does sound like all those things, doesn't it, Billy?
As of September of 2024, MAGA hats, T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, socks, campaign flags, jewelry, mugs, signs and banners, Trump coins, Trump crypto, calendars, authorized books, books endorsed by Trump, signed by Trump, action figures and dolls, photos, commemorative medallions and plates, challenge coins, don't know the difference between that and the others, phone cases, laptop decals, Trump-branded vitamins and supplements, Trump wine, Trump bottled water, Trump cologne, Trump merchandise for 2024, NFTs, watches, and of course, the Trump Bible.
NFTs?
I'm so pissed because, like, when they made the Gulf of America proclamation, I was talking to someone. I'm like, dude, I want to sell Gulf of America maps because, like, this is a grift that, like, people will buy maps that say Gulf of America, but, like, I need to be the first to market on this, right? But then I was also thinking, if I print up like 20,000 Gulf of America maps, I need to really be certain these are going to sell, because like that is an investment that is going to lead to me having 19,800 Gulf of America maps like in a garage somewhere, and a loss of like $40,000 that I do not have.
Billy, they're buying them up like hotcakes, man.
The thing then also is I was thinking, I'm like, well, I'm not a cartographer, right? So like, how do I go about making a map? Because how, like, the earth is the earth, right? Like, it's not like, this isn't like a copywritten thing where like, if I just trace someone else's map, they would know. Like, you know what land masses look like more or less, right? Unless like, and here's the thing, maybe there are cartographers that are out there that are like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add an extra little bump to Florida and see if then someone has this bump on their Florida, and then they know that they're just copying my map. So these are all the thoughts that went through my head when I was like, you know what? I can get in on this grift and make like a quick buck and just get in and get out and just sell these maps. But then I was like, there are a lot of downsides here that could lead to me having over 19,000 maps that I traced someone else's, you know, intellectual property land masses. And then I'm like in a lawsuit for hundreds of thousands of dollars on fictitious maps just to get in on a grift. So I didn't do it.
You know what's funny about that is the shape of Florida and having a little bump on it, it fits.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
I feel like we need a new phrase for selling like hotcakes. We need something to replace hotcakes. I don't think that anymore that hotcake sales are representative of the way that things sell the most. And so I'd like some nominees from folks on something that sells because it's an outdated phrase. And when did anyone call them hotcakes? What year are we talking about?
Well, here's a suggestion. What about selling like flapjacks?
Greg's right.
The thing that I wanted to get to with you guys today is Jessica and Amin stomping in today saying, and this is saying something right here, that yesterday was a show for all time with bad takes. That it is one of the worst shows we've ever done, based solely on the opinions had on the show. One of them, and it didn't make anyone's top 5 list, was Tony saying LeBron has more protection than the president. That wasn't even on the list of like bad takes for all time. So, Jessica, Amin, the floor is yours.
Do you want to go first? So the take that made me the saddest was about Righteous Gemstones. That made me sad that you guys didn't appreciate the art that was the first episode of the new season of Righteous Gemstones. Yeah. Also, you made false claims that it was the most expensive episode they've ever shot, which Danny McBride said is not true. They filmed it in 10 days. Bradley Cooper didn't get paid anything. He had never seen the show before. He was just coming in hot, and he was like, I'm going to be Elijah Gemstone, and the entire episode is about how this family's entire fortune is based off of a grifter, a Bible grifter. Alert. And if you didn't catch that, it's not really a spoiler. The whole episode's a flashback.
Catch that.
If you didn't really catch that.
Didn't catch it. Okay, missed that. Okay. Just missed it.
I mean, it's giving you like a origin story about this family and how this all began. And it was perfect for tying it into how they exist now in the show.
So the entire episode being set in Civil War era America in the South, the gemstone patriarch, the original gemstone, if you will, I didn't know that Bradley Cooper had never watched the show, because I was staggered watching him, how he sounded like Danny McBride's character. Like the way he was dismissive, the way he's kind of like, all right, he's clearly not sincere in any of this. It made me respect Bradley Cooper as an actor even more. I was like, wow, he's really nailing this, in the same way that when they do the flashback episodes in prior seasons where they got the little kid playing young Danny McBride, how he nails it. I'm like, oh my God. And the little girl that plays young Judy Gemstone, like, oh my God, they're doing such a great job. These kids are really good actors. Watching Bradley Cooper do it, where it's not overt like the kids do, where they are just younger versions of the characters they're playing, where it's just, hey, this thing runs through the family.
It's a wonderful show. It's a wonderfully artistic show. As people complain about being able to do comedy well, they skewer religion in a way that is amusing. But that's why we had the worst takes in the world yesterday.
Was one of them.
Well, I think that one made me the saddest, because I appreciated that episode. I was like you, Dan. I turned on the episode, and I was ready to see what Uncle Baby Billy was up to. I was ready to see what Keith was up to. I was ready to see what all my favorite friends, the Gemstones, were up to over this long hiatus. But 10 minutes in, I realized, okay, this flashback is not going to come to present day. This is just going to be like one big flashback episode. I'm along for the ride now. And I was waiting for them to sort of like tie it all together. And at the end of the episode, they did. They landed the plane. And I was like, I see what they did with this. And it made me sad to hear that you and Mike both didn't like it.
I was in it the whole way. As soon as I saw, oh, it's Bradley Cooper. And then there's like, okay, he's doing a Danny McBride thing. Okay. Oh, this is how when he switches the name, like, this is how it starts. Cool. I was in it the whole way. And like Jessica, I was sad and I was angry and I was ashamed, Dan. Ashamed, because typically, to pull back the curtain on this show, someone has ridiculous opinion. There's going to be one person who backs up their ridiculous opinion because we yes and.
No.
Hold on.
You're not flying in and explaining the show to people. Okay. You can have your Righteous Gemstones opinions without showing people the entirety of the show.
Is that my Gemstones opinion that is righteous, or is it a Righteous Gemstones opinion?
I didn't watch the show because there was no dissenting opinion yesterday. So like I got home and I was like, I guess just universally everyone thought this episode sucked. No! So I didn't watch it. I'm like, I'm going to watch the season. I'm going to watch it eventually. But like when I got home and I had free time, I was like, am I going to dedicate 39 minutes to this that everyone was saying how bad it was? Like, why would I do that? No one loved it. And then I come in and I'm like, hold on a second. It
was amazing.
That is not the opinion at all.
I also I heard you guys say like you liked the episode but not for the premiere of the season. When would you rather have it in the middle of the season?
Do not put Mike Ryan's words on me. I do not want those words on me. This is a show that I like a lot and admire that it's as ambitious as it is, and that in their 4th season they would do that kind of zig when everyone's in on, we'll eat up whatever you're giving us, because we believe that this is the best of what Max has to offer. This is the best of what creativity has to offer.
You accused Danny McBride of just wanting to spend HBO's money.
I accused Danny McBride in the streaming age of making a statement by going well afield of what it is that they normally do, taking out all of the characters that you've grown to love and starting the 4th season with the surprise of Bradley Cooper in what I'm assuming will be a season that has a whole bunch of cameos from people who do actually appreciate the Gemstones.
The statement is, I make a really good show. That's the statement he made. Not like, oh, okay, how can I let HBO and the world know that in a streaming age, I'm going to zag? No, he's not doing that. They're telling a story and they're telling it beautifully, especially knowing that this is the last season. It's not like they can get to this in season 6. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. So he's going to empty the chamber.
We'll get BJ pole dancing eventually.
Yes.
Apparently he did all his own pole dancing stunts in this season. Wow. And trust me, when I turned on HBO Max on Sunday night, Max, as the kids call it these days, I wanted to see that pole dancing. Yeah. And I realized instead I was going to get Bradley Cooper in a period drama that I was not expecting. Yeah. And you know what? It was excellent. It was great. They nailed it.
Instead of castigating Dan Le Batard, why don't you get Tim Baltz, who plays BJ? Huge sports fan from Chicago. Get him on the show as a guest.
That would be fine.
Yeah, why don't you do that instead of castigating?
Look, I don't want a Gemstones episode that doesn't have any of the characters in it. It's okay.
No, and it sets it up with the characters, it sounds like. They've done flashbacks a bunch of times on this show.
They have.
Have you seen it or not?
No, I haven't. You guys ruined it for me. I came in and I was like, this show is bad. Everybody thought it was bad. Why am I going to watch it?
So we're 10 minutes in, and you guys, this one television take is why it is that we had the worst show in show history.
We wanted to start off easy. We wanted to start off with a little warm-up routine here.
Like the hot towel on First Class, right? This isn't the meal yet. Let's get to the meat and potatoes here, Dan. I was so ashamed yesterday. You were so reckless that you're Dan Le Batard. You have a platform that echoes across not only this nation, but internationally. We talked about this the other day. You're an international icon, right? And for you to sit here and use that platform so flippantly, to baselessly just completely dismiss that Ray Romano impression, I was flabbergasted. That guy nailed it. And you're sitting here killing the callers and killing the fans and the listeners who are trying to help contribute. And I was getting ready, like Billy getting ready, oh my God, this Gemstones episode must be terrible. I was getting ready, oh man, Dan said these calls are terrible. And I said, whoa, let me buckle up for how lame these calls are. And then I hear that Ray Romano, I'm like, And you thought that was lazy and bad and not funny and all that? Hit me again.
He's not looking at you.
That's why I said hit me again.
I was looking for Miranda.
Miranda was good too, but that wasn't yesterday. Yesterday was Ray Romano. Dan, I'm going to ask this. This is the first time I've ever asked you this question.
The creative community around our show used to be something that was so competitive that would have been a 68 seed in a tournament because it's not quite good enough.
Get out of here.
Not quite good enough.
I agree with, like, in general, your point is not like wrong, but the last few weeks they've turned it up. Is all we're saying. Like you're hitting them like they're still down. They're trying.
Maybe it's you.
305-486. That's a very hard opinion for you to come by there, Billy. Very unpopular.
I just say maybe it's, Ray Romano was liked and you didn't like Everybody Loves Raymond, and there's a bias here, an inherent bias against our audience, and now you're taking it out on poor old Ray Romano.
Do you also have something against Al Michaels and Kermit the Frog? Maybe it's the voice. He doesn't like this high-pitched voice. Maybe it's that
305-486-GOTS if you want to do better than the callers have been doing recently.
Miranda?
Come on.
Hey,
Is that bad too? Come on.
I had a crush on Kermit the Frog when I was little.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Miss Piggy won't appreciate that. So, but yay!
You had dreams of little tadpoles?
Oh, cute.
Billy, you got in with really like you were interested, and then you lost all interest.
No,
Is there
I'm
any
not.
pro-
What are
well,
you
but I mean,
talking
did you
Amin
not?
has a great Kermit.
I try. Sometimes it comes and sometimes it goes. Miss Piggy says that it's because, well, let's just keep it PG, shall we?
What does the future hold for business? It's a question I've been asking myself, and I know if you ask 9 experts, you're going to get 10 different answers. Bull market, bear market, inflation up, inflation down. Could someone please just invent a crystal ball? Until that day comes, over 41,000 businesses have already future-proofed themselves with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud ERP. NetSuite seamlessly integrates accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one powerful platform. With one unified business management suite, you get one source of truth, empowering you to make quick, informed decisions. And thanks to real-time insights and forecasting, you're not just guessing, you're acting on actionable data. Close your books in days, not weeks, and spend more time looking ahead. Whether your company earns millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you meet today's challenges and seize tomorrow's opportunities. Speaking of opportunity, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/DLB. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/DLB. netsuite.com/DLB.
If you're a pet parent like me, you know about Chewy. When they say they have everything you need to keep your pet healthy and happy, they're not messing around. Oh, look at this good boy and good girl over here taking an early morning siesta after their breakfast with the food we got from Chewy. Hassle-free, with auto-ship. To keep Dopey happy, Chewy offers over 100,000 products from brands my pets love, at prices I love too. Foods, treats, toys, beds, you name it, they've got it. To keep Izzy healthy, Chewy's got me covered with pet prescriptions, insurance, telehealth vet visits, and even vet clinics rolling out nationwide. My favorite feature? Auto ship. I never run out of essentials like food or litter. And I can update or cancel anytime, so no guilt trips from Dopey or Izzy. And everything ships right to your door in just 1 to 2 days. Oh, and Chewy isn't just for dogs and cats. They've got birds, fish, reptiles, and more covered too. Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. Right now, you can save $20 on your first order and get free shipping by going to chewy.com/Dan. That's chewy.com/Dan to save $20 on your first order with free shipping. chewy.com/DAN. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Mattel, Heinz, or Skims, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the business behind the business, making and selling, and for shoppers, buying. Simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. No one does selling better than Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Heinz uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Batard, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Batard to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Batard.
Don Batard.
While I was gone, a third Zagacki was born, and I think I heard, correct me if I'm wrong here, Jeremy trying to partake in a fourth Zagacki, and I am here for a future where I am surrounded by a chorus of clucking Zagackis.
Stugotz.
You know what it means when you have 4 Zagackis, Dan? You don't have one.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
What other bad takes did we have yesterday?
Okay, so all right. Clearly, I was building up to this point. Dan, you can speculate how, it's a wonder that PEDs aren't more prevalent in basketball the way we know it is in football and baseball. What you cannot do, unequivocally, is put someone's name on it who does not have any history of it. I get what you're saying, but Dan, you got to remember, you're not Fran Le Batard or Dan Leibowitz. You're Dan Le Batard. There's a 20 under that. This show has been on the air for 20 years. You've been in the media for longer than that. When you even ask questions of that variety, you are creating something / giving voice or gas to something, no matter how unfounded it is. So you cannot say, well, Chael Sonnen said it. If Chael had just said it, if it had just come out, he was this week's guest on Andrew Schultz's show, then maybe that's an opening.
A newsworthy lane? You're talking about timeliness? It's a timeliness question where I can ask questions in. We're gonna agree on this part, right? We're living in the skeptical age, right? The age of skepticism. And so if I just make it hypothetical athlete X, I don't even make it LeBron and everything you know. I simply say to you, what do you think is more likely? That an athlete would try and defy age through science at the end of his career, or that one athlete had a career that defied the limits of the human body, unlike any we've ever seen in terms of mileage and how his body holds up for 20 straight years? I'm assuming did Kareem have more minutes? I'm assuming LeBron James has played more minutes than anyone else. Which do you think is more likely?
I think if you put it as a if you frame it exactly as you framed it there are people who could say, we know who you're hinting at. But I think you stay on this, albeit very close to that line, on this side of the line of, okay, you can have that conversation.
But if I preface it, though, if I'm prefacing it with all that you know about me and my admiration for LeBron, combined with, hey, I'm not accusing anyone of anyone here. I'm trying to have the macro conversation around America's giant, biggest athlete for the last 2 decades, using him as a vehicle, as we talk about Mo Vaughn over here and Ekblad over there. Right. Using him as, you've got this unprecedented thing. Can you guys explain to me, America, why this is the line too far on your skepticisms?
So,
when I'm not accusing him of anything. Dan, I'm just wondering why this is the place that you get this offended.
I'm offended because you said it, Dan. Because and as you say, my admiration for LeBron, you think it absolves you. What it does is it puts more credence in what you're just throwing out as a question. But for people to say, well, Dan Le Batard always says nice things about LeBron and how he's coming to take everybody's stuff, and now he's asking whether he's doing PEDs. Dan, no, I'm just telling you how it received. You're not, I know you're not sending it out that way. But the message is being received that way because of who you are. It would be like, Dan, it would be like if I all of a sudden started talking about J. Cole having ghostwriters. But Amin loves J. Cole. He's just asking a question. How can this guy keep being creative and writing like this without ghostwriters, right? If I said that, given who I am to that person, then it allows people to say, wait a second, I thought this was just a barbershop conversation, but this guy who has all the credibility is bringing it and giving it credence. And so when you say America and skepticism and where's our skepticisms and all that, yes, it's right to be skeptical about things, but also we live in an age where cockamamie statements have been given credence by people we deem credible, right? It's cockamamie, but this guy's talking about it, so it must be true. Some people might say the 45th president of the United States would not be president if it weren't for credible news organizations during the Republican primaries when it was just a clown show, giving attention to it, as opposed to letting it be a clown show over there and we talk about the real candidates. And what was most likely a farce, a guy just doing it for publicity, would not have risen to the highest office in power. That's the problem, right? And the craziest thing about it, you want to know what a good take was yesterday? Mike Ryan, of all people, said it. He said, you know who's the happiest person right now? Aaron Ekblad. There is an athlete, a white athlete, I might add, who has been ruled, right, a champion using PEDs. If this had happened to Jason Tatum, is Ekblad good? Give me.
Yeah,
he's
good.
above average.
Yeah. He's good.
Okay, so like Derek White, Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday. If it came out that Drew Holiday was on PEDs, you know how many asterisks we would have threw on the table on the Celtics championship?
No, Tatum would have. If you do it with Tatum, the others there wouldn't be asterisks.
There would.
Jaylen Brown, there would be.
There would because this is something that is Like, it's one thing to be caught juicing. It's another thing to get caught juicing and you're the defending champs, right? This guy should have been the center of the conversation, particularly in your local hour, where we're supposed to talk about local athletes and local sports.
Let me bring
but
something
instead
up
you
here.
start talking about some other guy.
Let me bring something up here because if I were to do things the way that you're alleging that I'm doing them by coming this close to the line on wherever it is
you crossed it. You didn't come close.
Okay, so wherever it is that my credibility resides, what remains of it, the idea that we are talking about 20 years in the oldest player in the league, still dominating the headlines when he's out. We talk about him and how Luka's going to do with him out. It's just crazy that at this age he's doing these things, and because Tom Brady has normalized it. I'm trying to have a conversation with you about skepticism with him as the avatar, the way he is for fatherhood, when all of a sudden him and Stephen A are arguing, or wherever it is that in the modern age you give relevance to and power and currency to these people. We're witnessing something that has no precedent for the human body. And I'm not even questioning it.
But
I'm asking why there aren't questions about it.
That's the same thing, Dan.
That's the same.
Dan,
like you're bringing it up and saying
that's the problem.
Like asking questions about why we're not asking questions is the same thing as asking questions in the ear of the listener. You might not have that intention, but by bringing it up and saying, hey, that's pretty suspicious. We've never seen anything quite like that. Why aren't you guys asking questions about it? Why aren't you skeptical? Makes me go, oh, should I be skeptical? I guess I should be skeptical.
If I were doing this the way that Amin is accusing me of doing it, I would just look at the camera and get the clicks of making the accusation in some framed way that would be smart. I'm not doing that. I'm simply presenting you with an unprecedented athlete doing unprecedented things at the end of his career and asking why it is that everyone who is watching this would say to me, if after the fact it actually happened, well, yeah, of course.
Dan.
Well, yeah, of course.
Dan.
Like that makes sense that body would work more than any human body ever. And it had some help.
Dan,
and like that seems like a legitimate question to me.
You just accused me of accusing you. I'm not accusing you. I understand your intellectual curiosity about it. I'm telling you that there is, in the same way that when we talked about the Britney Spears documentary 3 or 4 years ago or whatever, whenever it came out on Hulu. And there was a scene where she's being mobbed because she went to Starbucks. And everyone's like, oh my God, it must be so awful for her. And I'm like, no, yeah, you're Britney Spears. You don't get to go to Starbucks anymore at that point of her career. You don't get to do that anymore. Stephen A. Smith talks about, I can't go to the movies anymore. He hasn't been to movies in so long. Why? Because he said, if I walk into a movie theater, it distorts the reality of what this experience should be. The experience should be, I'm ready to watch Captain America, whatever. And instead, the experience goes, Stephen A. Smith is here. Hey, man, you think the Lakers are going to do it? So I don't know if this is ignorance or humility. Dan, you are not in a place where you get to innocently ask that question, even as I know you innocently asked it, because it comes out innocent here, and by the time it goes into that little camera right there and into that microphone, comes out into the ears and the eyes of people, it loses its innocence completely, and it becomes a prompt to question LeBron James's whatever he's doing, right? And that question, why'd you think that? It's a difference between when Chael Sonnen, noted dumbass, says it.
Alleged dumbass.
Alleged dumbass. And when Dan Le Batard, Dan always says good things about LeBron.
Well,
wait, why would he bring that up?
No, he didn't side with him on Cookiegate either. So now we're back to back. Now we're back to back on these, and now it's like, maybe there's motive. Some are saying, he went out there and he took shots at the Heat. He accused them of stealing his cookies, and now all of a sudden he's on steroids.
Yep. Having said all of this, all of you would bet yes. Everyone would bet yes.
Bet yes on
I'm
what?
confused whether he's done it or not.
But we're on a major podcast on a major network. Accusing someone of doing something that there is no...
Not accused.
He didn't accuse.
Okay,
he
asking why we aren't accusing someone of doing something
is...
I don't think it's our place to do that. Unless there is a legitimate conversation about it stemming from someone with legitimate eyewitness accounts or whatever investigative story there is.
Hold on a second. Does J. Cole write his own songs or not? Like, I think that's really what's been lost on this. Because you go to Dreamville Fest and you have this relationship with J. Cole, and here you are saying he has ghostwriters. Is that so, or is that not
He must have ghostwriters.
I must, right? Like that seems like it would be the natural progression. But I think, Dan, like the thing about it all is...
Okay, so he does.
He must. I mean, clearly.
Cause
I never thought about it before right now, but
if this is a lie detector, I'm not saying yes or no.
If you brought it up, I believe it now.
Evasive.
J. Cole has ghostwriters.
J. Cole took a bigger hit, I think, right there because of his friendship with J. Cole than LeBron did in whatever it is that we're talking about.
That kind of proves his point, though.
There's nothing wrong with
bringing it
ghostwriters.
up.
That was the point.
Britney Spears, great artist.
Chris, when you ask if you have to bet or whatever, here's the reality. There are things that I want to be first at being right at, or early on being right at. And then there are things that I'm perfectly fine.
This is not one of them.
I'm perfectly fine being wrong if it turns out.
Right, because we're jerks. If we're wrong, we're jerks.
That's fair. But this one will never, we can agree. This one will never turn out.
Because he's more protected than the president. You heard Tony yesterday.
This one,
Amin has proven that today. Amin has gone after me harder than he went after Trump or Musk. Like, Amin has proven that today.
I put it on the sheet, man.
Well, he believes he can make a difference in this case. In the other cases, he knows
also,
he can't.
I don't have credibility when it comes to talking about the president or talking about an oligarch, right? I have credibility when it comes to talking about our sport, and especially about how people talk about our sport. And when you hear, like, Rich Paul, going on, McAfee or whatever, and saying kind of the things he's saying, I see it as, this is the reaction. They are defending this thing that they feel like they are under attack from, right? And so you are basically rolling a grenade into the middle of the aisle and say, but I didn't pull the pin. It's just a grenade. But you're arming people with the tools to begin an assault.
The thing, though, and so you're holding me responsible. I understand. You did it all the way to the primaries. You're holding me responsible for... If the question gets poisoned once it's out of my hands, you're giving me a giant media responsibility.
Because you put the question out there.
I did put the question out there, but I'm about to explain to you, in the content age, I'm about to explain to you the whys of it. I'm super interested in the reaction. I'm super interested in the macro conversation, and the athlete is... I can change it by the decade. It doesn't matter whether it's LeBron. I remember the way people behaved when we turned Maguire and Sosa into the people that we turned them into. And then over the last 20 years, everyone from Lance Armstrong to Barry Bonds to everyone else has been some form of a lie. And so this guy who has managed over 20 years to be a pillar that I've never seen in my journalism career, not just an international icon that has done almost everything the right way, also has, as scientific fact behind him, the fact that his body has held up better than any human body has ever under these conditions. And so I ask of America, not LeBron, why don't you ask why? Like, what happened over the last 20 years on this stuff where we just weren't curious about that and Tom Brady and all the stuff that allows these people to age 10 years beyond previous facts?
Dan, you talked about Maguire and Sosa yesterday and how they had the andro in the locker, and that reporters were doing interviews at the lockers, and we could see the andro in the background. I think that there's and then you root, how could we not know? I think there's a massive difference between those examples where they're literally like, hey, this is the thing I take, it's right here, versus you're just looking at it as like, that doesn't look right, right? Look, I could play this game for a lot of athletes. You do really believe Michael Jordan got beat by the Pistons and then said, all I have to do is lift weights, and then all of a sudden, he's indestructible.
Whoa,
and awesome?
Wait a minute. Are you asking that question publicly?
I'm not. I'm countering.
Careful.
I'm countering your reckless. By the way, this is the most offensive part. We have a button right here. Where is it? That says...
Put it on the poll. Did Michael Jordan take PEDs?
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation.
You can't even blame Chris for not putting... You have the button in front of you at any time. You could have hit that button and then it still would have been reckless, but at least given the acknowledgement, hey guys, we're going to play a little bit outside of the sandbox today. Nobody called for it. You guys just went along with it. That's the part that was disappointing, Dan, is that there was nobody who was like, whoa, what do we do? Hit that button if you're going to say that. If Stugotz had done that, if Stugotz was the one who asked the question, why isn't anyone asking the question, we would have roasted him. We would have put him up. We would have hung him up in effigy. We would have sent him, or even worse, we would have sent him to the penalty box, right? We had this conversation, or y'all had this conversation, and not once did anyone point out, at least play the sounder if we're going to do this.
I think on the opposite end, and it was another argument that we had yesterday, and it's kind of tied in here, was when we were talking about Laramie Tunsil, and the whole argument was basically like, well, no one really cares that he, smoked weed now in 2025, right? And like, that's kind of where we are in sports. Like, no one really cares if people test positive for PEDs and get suspended anymore.
No, they care because the guy got suspended.
Yeah, but no one cares about it.
Well, I'm sure Panthers fans care about it.
I mean, but there's not the outrage. Like, there's not the outrage like when Manny Ramirez got suspended or when like any of the bigger names in baseball got suspended. Like, we're now 10 years removed from the shock value of, the people that we really like use steroids and they're cheating and there's this purity in the sport. Now there's just kind of an assumption like, maybe there's something going on there, but like, I don't care because like it's a sport I like. So like, LeBron, even if something was going on there, is not going to get suspended for anything.
It would be the biggest scandal in the history of the sport.
It would be if it came out, which the NBA is not incentivized for it to ever come out.
Sure.
And that's why people don't really care to look into it because they're just like, maybe everyone's doing it. Because there wasn't that like naivete that there was at the time of LeBron, of Mark McGuire. It's like, whoa, I think the best player's cheating? How's that possible?
I think, sure, like there's a purity and an innocence that was had in 1998 that doesn't exist anymore. But still, it is still shocking nonetheless. If that happens, I don't think it's so he did it. Like,
but only if it's him.
Sure,
right?
Exactly.
Like if Tyler Hero gets suspended for PETs, we'd be like,
Bobby Portis got suspended, and we're like, basically. You're right. Aaron Ekblad, apparently we were, the Stanley Cup
Tyler would be like, why isn't he taking more? He's still kind of skinny.
Well, also, Tyler's not a defending champion, and somehow we just avoided talking about that for some reason. I wonder why that is, right? So then it was maybe because you're banging a drum?
Accusing us of bias?
Journalism's done.
You banged a drum?
They did give you a jersey.
You guys all on Roy. Roy, how did you not know? You went to their building and you banged the drum. Did you ask any questions or did you just have tequila?
Did you have locker room access? All of a sudden, they liquor you up. They give you that jersey. They say, here's a drum banging practice. Here's some 4 VIP tickets. The rest of people have to pay. That's another thing. We have to get to that again.
Journalism died.
Right there.
Do you guys have any other bad takes from yesterday?
Yeah, you know what, Dan? You were the only one who was right on one of these takes, which is Laramie Tunsil. We just brought it up.
What?
No. Everyone was losing their minds and pearl clutching over the idea of weed like 10 years later. Like, oh my God, a guy smoked weed and oh my God, he has to fall down the draft. Greg said that still, this is 2025. He was like, well, you should, when you see that, you should be questioning a guy's mental health. It was like one of the wildest 2012 conversations about this type of thing that we've ever had. And Dan was the only one steadfast in, that was a pretty wild thing when you have a guy that talented that he would drop down the draft just because he was smoking a little weed.
Let me go first to the Greg corner. I know what Greg's doing there. Greg was playing 2025 language bingo. So it's like mental health. That's what because you guys blame everything on mental health. Anything.
What do you mean, you people?
You people, your generation, with your TikToks and your algorithms, and your mental health is this and mental health is that, right? So we're not going to jump on Greg for that one. There's something else that Greg messed up on yesterday. We'll get that out on the list.
I'm a little confused by the strategy today. We came in saying yesterday was the worst show we've ever done, so we're relitigating all of the takes from yesterday again.
We're doing it right.
We're fixing
Billy, we're doing it right. We're fixing wrongs. We're righting wrongs. That's what we're doing.
I'm kind of looking forward to tomorrow's show where we talk about what we talked about today.
No,
Mike comes back and he's like, that Gemstones episode sucked and you're wrong.
No. All right, so the Laramie Tunsil thing. Again, oh my God, Mike Ryan had 2 good points yesterday. We can sit here and
Can you just text Mike Ryan and tell him what his good points are?
He had so many awful ones, but somehow 2 gems came out, and this is how I know it was accidental. He never went back to them in the middle of that conversation. He just was just
So
talking.
you're accusing him of accidentally making good points.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm accusing.
You're also reviewing the show like a restaurant critic or like a film critic. Are you taking notes on?
This would be a pan.
Yes, that part seems obvious.
Dan, if you know what it feels like when I'm in a room with my kids and I say, okay, don't mess anything up. Don't touch anything. Got it, Dad. Turn around, walk out, walk back in. The rooms, I'm like, what happened? I was only gone for a couple of days, and this is what you guys did? And so when I say I could do this every week, but I don't because it's not that interesting.
Oh, I'm here though. No, I would be here for about 10 minutes of a mean show ombudsman just tells us all the things we got terribly wrong.
We're 23 minutes past the 10, though.
Okay, we already have someone who does a very good job of it. His name is Juju Gotti. Catch him in the post-game show. But when I say that yesterday was one of the all-time worst episodes from the things that were said, now it might have done well ratings-wise, it might have been entertaining, but like the things that were said. So the Laramie Tunsil thing, I'll tell you what was wrong, Jeremy, and how Mike Ryan, of all people, had the right take. It's not about our sensibilities towards marijuana.
You've hit him with two of all people.
Because I'm staggered.
Tread lightly, I mean, you're not going to be on the show for a year.
You have hit him with Mike Ryan, of all people, twice in the last 10 minutes.
But we can sit here and talk about the sensibilities towards marijuana. But the reality is, Josh Gordon was one of the best players at his position in NFL, and his career was destroyed. And as Stephen A. Smith said, stay off the weed. Remember that? It wasn't about whether marijuana is good or bad. I believe by 2016, 2017, we all had figured out, okay, this is much ado about nothing in terms of the impact of this product on people. It's actually less detrimental than alcohol. Dan, when I was a scout and we would find out, we would do the intel reports on guys, we were more worried about the alcoholics because of what it does to your body. With the marijuana smokers, we were just worried about, are you smart enough to not get caught? Because the testing is not that rigorous if you know what to look for. And so when you see Laramie Tunsil with the damn thing, the gas mask on, the question isn't, oh my God, he smokes weed. It's, this dumbass is going to get caught and suspended. And so when you're talking about spending a top 10 draft pick in a sport where they really, really value their draft picks, really, it's not like the NBA was like, we'll do it again next year. You cannot risk it, because if you take him that high and then this dumbass gets suspended because he couldn't stay off the weed.
They still took him at 13.
Of course, because there's a risk reward at every stage. Like the lower the risk, the more like, okay, I'm willing to do it.
What is your objection? My contention that leadership risks unpopularity? What is your contention?
So that was all to lead me to that point right there. Dan Le Batard, you want leadership to risk unpopularity. I don't remember.
It must.
It must. Yes, it must. I don't remember you sticking up for Nico Harrison when he risked all the unpopularity. I don't remember your staunch defense of him saying, hey, guys, maybe he knows something that we don't know. Hey, guys, maybe Luka is a lot worse behind the scenes than we're realizing.
That is an interesting one because of how rare it is that you get just a universal consensus that you can't find a dissenting voice on any sports argument. There was nobody doing that, not just me.
But he did do the thing that you asked leadership to do. He risked unpopularity to make a decision.
Risk it better. Get more draft picks.
All right, I know I got to do this ad read, but hold on. Let me reapply. Did you hear that? Yep, that's my new favorite lip gloss from NYX Cosmetics. Now I'm ready to talk to you. I've been a huge fan of NYX Cosmetics for many years now. In fact, I use their Thick It, Stick It brow gel every single day. So you can imagine my excitement when we recently received a special delivery to the Le Batard studios from our friends over at NYX Cosmetics. And there it was. When I opened the box, glowing, I heard the angels sing, ah. It's their latest lip gloss fat oil lip drip. It's NYX Cosmetics' first lip oil of its kind. This creamy lip oil will have your lips dripping with fat, perks. You get all the shine of a lip gloss and none of the stickiness while experiencing 12-hour hydration. I'm usually a matte lip gloss kind of gal. My normal go-to is NYX Cosmetics Lip Gloss, the Lingerie XXL. But after applying the status update shade, I have found my new go-to lip gloss. Fat Oil Lip Drip has high shine finish with comfortable wear and none of the sticky texture. A lip product that's hydrating, non-sticky, and only $9? Now that's a win. Try Fat Oil Lip Drip from NYX Professional Makeup. Available in 14 universally flattering shades. Find your perfect Fat Oil Lip Drip. Shop now at nyxcosmetics.com or a retailer near you.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.